Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Boxer Town Hall. My name is Gina. I'll be your moderator today. We're very excited for our last session here. We have Narce and Lisa, and I think we have maybe a couple more people who are going to be hopping in today. The setting is a little bit different from our previous sessions. We are going to hold it more like a Q&A for everybody. And there were a couple of questions that came in. So before we even get started to it, I'm just going to go ahead and ask everybody to introduce themselves, and then we'll move on to the questions. And I know Narci's drinking water, so I'm going to hand it over to Lisa first here. Lisa, could you introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. Thanks, Gina. Hi, my name is Lisa Aiello, and I'm the Director of Housing and Dining Services.
Perfect. Thank you. And Narce.
Good afternoon. Hi, my name is Narce Rodriguez, Vice President of Student Affairs and Chief of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion.
Awesome. And I see Jenna here who just hopped in here. Good afternoon, Jenna.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jenna Lake Chan. I'm the Director of Hawaii Outreach and Programming.
Thank you so much for being on here today. And I think we might have one other person hop in a little bit later. And we are getting questions just kind of all across the board. Again, if you have any questions for anybody here, please go ahead and stick it in the chat box. You can send that send it in public so that everybody could read the question. Or if you're feeling a little bit shy, you can go ahead and send it to me privately, and I'll go ahead and read those questions aloud anonymously for you. So in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and get right to it. The first question, oh, there it is. Hi, Justin, how are you? Can we have you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, so running a few minutes late. My name is Justin Lee. I'm Manager of Student Support and Co-Coordinator of Veteran Services.
Awesome, thank you. So we have a great board of people here for you. And I did get one question that came in, and I thought it was a great question. And it was, what back to school activities are we going to be offering the incoming sophomore class? Should they be included in all the incoming freshman activities since they were not allowed to participate this past fall and this past year because of COVID? They really kind of missed out on those social activities. And so what can we do? What's the communication going to be for this incoming sophomore class?
Hi, Gina. I can answer some of that, and Jana Lay and Justin, feel free to also provide answers. So I've been in communication with Denise Gisbers, who is our orientation director, and she communicated last week that per the request also of the university president, that we would really like to have our sophomore students receive a particular orientation for them as well, since they did not have the opportunity to experience what it's like to get an orientation in person. Hopefully that's the goal that we have. So that's what we are planning to do. The other thing too is that Voyages, which is an outdoor pursuits program that we have, will also open the doors for those outdoor activities via Voyages for our sophomore students.
Thank you. And generally, I know you work with a lot of our students that come in from Hawaii. Will that be the case for our returning students as well too?
Well, we're hoping for the sophomores. We haven't quite nailed down our plan just yet, but we are in the process of making sure that the incoming sophomores will have an experience that they did not have last time. So we're planning with our peer mentor coordinators, and we'll have that information as soon as we coordinate also with the orientation team from the university.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And the question that I got was, I'm just going to kind of grab it here so it's a little bit easier for me to grab. It's more about dining services, I believe. Next year, will the food service be back to how it was before COVID and offer the full menu without so many prepackaged offerings or items?
I can jump in on that one, Gina. So yes, I mean, definitely our hope is that we are able to return to normal offerings and dining as long as the governor allows us to do that. And prepackaged items, I just want to kind of clarify that that is still food that is cooked from scratch in the kitchen. It's just packaged to go to reduce any, cross-contamination and quickness for students to get in and out and not have a bunch of people kind of bottlenecking.
Perfect, thank you. So hopefully that helped answer the question. And we got a question that came in about that free tuition, the free semester that we had offered at the beginning of COVID for our students because they are missing out on it. And it looks like this particular student might have been declined and are going through the appeal process. And they're kind of asking who can they talk to about this process rather than just submitting paperwork and waiting. Is there somebody that they can reach out to, maybe get some more information on why it might have been declined in the first place?
Gina, I can go ahead and look into that. If we can privately have the student's name and the parents, I will go ahead and consult with Sarah Phillips, who is the Dean of the College of Arts and Science, so we can see what's going on. And I'm really sorry, Karen Bolda, for that experience. So we will look into it right away.
Yes, so if you can send me your student's name privately, and I'll go ahead and make note of that so we can follow up with you, and so that we get some more information on that. So thank you for that question. The next question that came in, for the sophomores, will they get to do the sign, shake, and ring? They missed that opportunity in the beginning during orientation last year. Will there be an opportunity this year for them?
That's a really good question. It's an amazing tradition that we have here at Pacific University, and I know it's something that our parents and students look forward. It's premature. We don't know yet because there's a lot of touching, especially of the cord for the ringing. So we need to figure those pieces out, and we might come up with something creative that might be similar experience, but we haven't quite decided yet.
Okay, so it looks like there are a couple of things that are still up in the air. I know we are trying our best to try and get you guys the information, but as this past year has rolled around, I think we all know it's kind of a do our best to plan, and hopefully there aren't any changes, but there might be changes, and that's something that we just kind of have to move forward with. So we will be in contact with you, in communication with you about orientation and all that information. I am not getting too many other questions that are coming in to me. Did anybody else have any questions that are maybe being forwarded to you? Or I know, Justin, you had access to the form for our families who might have wanted to submit a question beforehand. Do we have any that are coming in? This is good. That means we're answering everybody's questions. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead and stick it in that chat box there. Or you can send it to me privately, and we'd be more than happy to answer those questions. This is going to be our last town hall that we have scheduled for now. I can't say if there's going to be additional maybe in the summer where there might be some large updates, but this will be the last one that is scheduled for now. Perfect. I got one question here. Our freshman students, whoops, now they're coming in. There we go. Our freshman students, a group of 4, were not able to secure a quad like they were looking for and are now scrambling for options. Do additional options open later for housing, Lisa?
Yeah, a lot of the students all want the 4-bedroom with kitchens. So as a current freshman, they don't all actually get to have those room types, unfortunately, but we do have another process that they are welcome to take advantage of, and that is our waitlist process. So it opens up on May 3rd. It's May 3rd to May 12th. We will be advertising to those students via email on April 30th, so they can do a Sign Up Genius appointment to meet with myself and our other housing staff, and we will talk through with them what they were hoping to have, and we will get them on that wait list. There's always a great chance that students can get their desired room by the time school starts, because we do process cancellations all summer long, because we have some students that might decide to live off campus and secure housing off campus, and then they'll cancel. So we'll go to our wait list and we'll move people on. So I would highly encourage them to grab an appointment with us, and we will monitor that all summer and try to make it work for them if we can.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, as a freshman student, they're kind of a little bit lower in terms of credits that they've completed. And so I know the top of the totem pole, it's more of our seniors and juniors. So hopefully getting on that wait list will get them that quad that they liked. We're still trying to figure out storage for summer since we live in Alaska. So John and Lee, I think this might be a great question for you. Do you have any suggestion and how much space will they have for storage on campus? I know you have a lot of students going back and forth as well. Do you have suggestions for those students who live out of state?
Sure, I will put in the link. We have about 4 off-campus storage companies that the Hawaii students use, and they usually ask some friends to share a unit with them because they all don't have quite that much to store over the summer just yet. But I do encourage them to try not to order too many things from Amazon each year because they do have to pack it all up in May. So I'll put those in the chat, and then what students need to do is make their reservation for the summer with that company before they bring their things to that storage unit, because sometimes there might not be someone who is monitoring the office. So they usually get either a key or they purchase their own lock and they get the code to get into the gate to bring their things in. And what was the second question, Gina?
I think that was just it. So just
okay.
kind of how much storage space that we have on campus. And I know it's
Lisa
not a
might
lot,
be able
right?
to answer that one.
Sure. Yeah, the residence life office. So your students, RA and area coordinator, they do send out information to all residential students about storage on campus. We don't have a lot of storage, but we can accommodate 2 boxes or a box and a mini fridge from every student.
Okay, perfect. So those are a couple of options there. And again, in the chat box, Janelle is working on putting in those links for you. So reservation ahead of time, just to make sure that everything is squared away, and definitely looking for some student other friends. Yes, Janelle?
And one more thing, when your students are making those reservations, ask them to call that office of the company and ask if they give a discounted rate to the students from Pacific.
Good, good. Yes, I know they usually have, some of them have specials around the time that everybody's moving out. And so some students have been able to get a great deal because they are offering Pacific University specials. So definitely doing a little bit of homework and diligence on that and calling around to see if we get the best price for them is a great way to reserve that space. So thank you. That was a great question. And that kind of naturally moves us on into the next housing question, Lisa. Do we have housing move-in dates for the next school year?
Yes. So housing reopens on August 28th. And Residence Life staff will be working in conjunction with orientation to determine how we're going to do those moves again this year due to COVID processes. So more to come on that. If you do have a child that is on a fall sport, they will get information about check-in directly from their coaches.
Perfect, thank you. So it looks like it might be a little bit early, so we'll make sure to kind of keep you guys updated on those dates. And the next question is kind of a big question that we've been getting in the Office of Admissions, and so I'm sure it's going to be on a lot of people's questions is, will vaccines be required for students to have in-person classes next year?
I can answer that. The answer is most likely. The COVID-19 task force will most likely render a decision, I hope, within 2 weeks. But we are starting to see here in the state of Oregon that most universities, and particularly the privates, will be requiring the vaccination to take place. Required for all of the students. If we do have some students that need medical exemptions, we are working on that policy as well. And if there's any other type of exemption, we're currently working with our legal counsel to figure out what it is that we can do. The other thing too that I like to share is that if for some reason the student arrives on campus and they have not yet had their vaccination, we will provide that for them as well. We will have a COVID-19 tent outdoor clinic to provide that. We actually, at Pacific University, we've been very proud. As of yesterday, we've approximated 8,000 vaccines that have been delivered to community, all of our students that want it, and our families, faculty, and families of people that work here. So that's the answer at this time, but we should have a confirmed decision, I hope, within 2 weeks.
Perfect. Thank you. I know that is a question that a lot of families have. So within the next couple of weeks, we will have it. But I can't say I got my second vaccine. I'm feeling really safe now that we are vaccinated. And that's me personally. The next question that came in, and there are 2 questions that Lisa, I'm going to ask you because it kind of segues from our last question here, is the move out date. So who should students tell the date and time of their move out to, and how should they communicate their move out dates? And is anybody allowed to help them move out?
Okay. So the halls close on May 12th at 7 p.m. And if they, to set up an appointment with their RA, actually, all they do have to do is communicate with their RA when they're anticipating checking out, but they do it on their own. They've been given instructions on how to do an express checkout, so it's contactless. Basically, there's an envelope at the front desk of their residence hall. When they're ready to depart, they put their room keys in that envelope, and then they put it in the key slot at their front desk. So they just need to make sure they're departed by May 12th at 7 p.m. And what was the other question, Gina?
Will they be able to have family members help them move out? Mm-hmm.
Yes, Residence Life is following the same protocol as when students checked in, so they can have at least 2 people assist them with the move out process.
Awesome, thank you. So check in with their RAs, let them know the dates, and then they'll get that express checkout settled away. The question that came in are for students, returning sophomore students, so freshmen right now, they're waitlisted for a class. So I know this is kind of a new experience for them. And what are the chances for him getting the class, that class for spring semester as a junior, or is there a better chance if he waits to take the class as a older student of him getting into the class? I guess is the question that is being asked here. Does anybody know?
I can try to answer that. So registration is done by number of credits. So the students with the most amount of credits, that the seniors register first, and then juniors, and so on. So in the case of your student is an incoming sophomore, they're unfortunately kind of lower on the tier, but every semester they earn more credits and will move up, and so they get a higher priority in terms of picking classes. But ultimately, this is a conversation that I would suggest your student have with their academic advisor, particularly because if it's a class that is necessary for their major or course of study, and some classes are not offered every year, then obviously there'll be more of a priority and a push to get them into the class. They can always request to be on a wait list with a faculty member, and we'll kind of wait to see until classes start in the fall or in the first week of classes to see if everybody has stayed in the class or if spots open up. So it really comes down to availability and number of credits. But over the course of sophomore and junior year, most likely your student will be able to get into the class at some point.
Perfect, thank you. As soon as you said wait list, I had flashbacks of my college career. I didn't go to Pacific, so all of my classes were always waitlisted. So the thing that advising always talks about is that just to remember that your student might not get the class that they want, but they will get the class that they need. And so they're not going to be missing out on any extra, graduation time or anything like that. We still have that 4-year graduation guarantee. The student will definitely just be on a wait list, but definitely getting a class that they need to for their major. So thank you so much for that. Are there going to be any classes that are going to be online next year?
I can answer that, Gina. Last week, the dean of College of Arts and Science and the dean of the School of Business and the School of Education, those 3 deans, were having a conversation about this. The likelihood that most of the classes will be online, so we can go back to our traditional way to deliver courses, is very likely. There might be possibly some classes online. There might be possibly some hybrid classes, but it's too early to determine yet. We do know that we want to move as close as possible to our traditional delivery of courses.
Thank you so much for that clarification. Let me see here. When will payments for next fall be due? I think I can answer that question. It's usually there should be a bill that is on their Boxer online account, and they should be able to set it up probably in the late summer. But again, this is flashbacks from last month when I gave everybody the wrong information. My suggestion would be reach out to the billing department and ask them for sure. So scratch what I said 20 seconds ago. I'm going to put in the email address for the business office, which is cashiering at pacificu.edu, and they'll be able to answer your question and let you know when the next billing cycle is and when those due dates are. I believe they typically add it on our website as well too, but I think right now the dates are still for this current year. So next year's dates might not be posted yet, but reaching out to cashiering at pacificu.edu will get you the most accurate information. So I would reach out to that department there. So another question, then this is for our student athletes here. What do those in housing who do not know yet if they have a stay for sports? They still don't know if they have to stay. They could not request to stay longer.
Yep, I can answer that, Gina.
Thank you.
I'm assuming we're talking about baseball and track, who are potentially looking at some playoff opportunities. So they're not quite sure how long they're going to be in Forest Grove. So, if they're just needing a few extra days, they can reach out to Natona Derliff. She's one of the area coordinators for Residence Life, and she is authorizing some late stay requests until May 16th. If we're talking longer, which it sounds like there's potential for that, students would need to apply for summer housing. And at this time, we've asked athletes just to hold tight and see whether or not that's what they need. Summer housing applications were due on Friday, but that's not the case for these students. They would be able to apply for summer housing as soon as they know more about what their team is doing. So I hope that helps. If it doesn't, I can certainly help more offline, and I'm reachable at the housing@pacificu.edu email as well.
Perfect, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a baseball question there. My daughter was accepted to do the free tuition semester. Can she take a full class if the professor says it's okay?
Probably, it's hard to determine that because we don't know if the faculty has actually had a conversation with the committee that makes those decisions, which Sarah Phillips, again, the College of Arts and Science, it's leading that work. So I would, again, Karen, we'll take your name and your information along with your students, your daughter, so we can find out what we need to do here. I'm going to probably say yes, but we need to confirm with our dean.
Perfect, thank you. I'm just writing the student's name down here so we can make sure to follow up on that. And the other question that came in is, How does a free semester work for spring athletes? There are different messages coming from the office versus the athletics office, so I think there might be a little bit of confusion that's happening.
Yeah, Patty, I'm very sorry that that's happening. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer. And what this is really telling me, based on the pattern of questions that we're getting, is that we need to do a better communication about the free tuition and probably a number to call or email. So I will look into that as well. So thank you for your patience. I don't know the answer, but we'll find out.
To clarify a little bit, I just put the link that the advising center has the page for the free semester, and it actually does say that you are an athlete. Well, you have to take the free semester after the first semester after you would have finished, and so you can't take the fall off and then come back in the spring for the free semester. You can obviously, if your student wants to stay in the fall and take classes and then utilize the free semester in the spring, they can do that, but there can't be a gap.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. Yeah, the website, I would say, probably lists kind of all the guidelines. So definitely take a look at that and make sure that the students are, you and the student are able to understand, but we will make sure to get that communication a little bit more clear, because it sounds like that's a common question. I believe that those are the other questions that came in. Oops, there it is. Are the next year's award of scholarships, grants, and aid still coming for returning students sometime in May? So it sounds like it's a financial aid question. The merit scholarships, yes, that's yours every year for the student. We don't take that. That was based on all their high school grades. As regards to other grants and scholarship, they were based on the need-based scholarship on the FAFSA information. So I would reach out to financial aid to get the exact information on when the aids are coming in, what it looks like, and when it does get posted, the student should be able to also access that information on their Boxer online account. So financial aid would be the best office, and that's financial aid at pacificu.edu to find out. But again, with your student being a current student, I believe your student reaching out to the department, you'll probably be able to get a better answer just because of certain communications. Another question that came in is, will there be more work study jobs available to students next year? My daughter was never able to secure a work study position this year.
My answer would be yes. You know, again, pending on COVID-19 and opening up the university as much as we can, that will be the goal. So the work study jobs are there for the students that receive that via their financial aid awards. So this year was really difficult to secure work study positions on campus. Only certain offices have the capacity, like the library, and I think your office, Gina, the admissions. I know Jana Lay did a couple of, how many work studies did you do, Jana? But you have to get very creative, right?
I had about 28, but I also asked the Office of Accessibility and Accommodations for our students to help in their office. And we also did some work with the admissions office.
So the goal is, yes, we want to do that. And if your daughter, is it daughter? Yeah, if your daughter needs assistance with that, they can go ahead and reach my office. I'll be more than happy to work with them. And sometimes it's a matter of connecting with the right office in regards to what particular duties they might want to do. So I'm pretty connected with peers on campus.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, the offices had to be a little bit creative. I think we had largest group of 38 tour guides this semester. It's been fun though. It's nice to be able to see our tour guides out on campus walking around and being able to socially distance and still be able to share their Pacific experience with some of our prospective families here. Thank you so much for that. I don't have any other questions that are coming in. I know there were a number of email addresses that we stuck in that chat box there. So again, cashiering at pacificu.edu to find out when the next payment due dates will be. Housing at pacificu.edu if you have any questions about move out and dates, but the date information, all that, we'll make those announcements when it comes. And then financial aid at pacificu.edu to figure out if there are any the grants and scholarship, if they move over. Most of them, I believe, are renewable, so there shouldn't be too large of an adjustment, but definitely reach out to them for sure to find out if the financial aid package will still be the same. And thank you, Narcy. Narcy also included in her email address in the chat box there below. And I'm hoping we've answered everybody's questions here. I don't have any others coming in. Were there any last minute comments or advice that maybe you guys would like to share with the families who are here on the Zoom session?
I just want to say that your students have been amazing. It's been a very difficult year. I can assure you that the student affairs staff and faculty and everybody else within the institution has worked really hard. It's like building a city on top of a university, and it's we have to get very creative, but your students are amazing, your daughters, your sons. So congratulations for a successful year. I'm a mama of two Pacific students. One graduates in a few weeks. She's a senior, and the other one is a sophomore going into her junior year. So it's been tough for our kids, I have to say. It's been really tough. It's been really hard. They just want to be students and they want to do the normal college things that students do. And they've been amazing. We're very proud of our students. So thank you, parents, for supporting them. And thank you for supporting us at Pacific as well.
Thank you, Narcy.
Yeah, I'd like to add too, I mean, again, as Narcy said, thank you to your students, but also one of the most amazing things is while this pandemic has happened and there have been students who unfortunately did catch COVID, we did not have any transmission from student to student in a classroom at all the entire year, which means people have been following all the guidelines and doing all the things that we've asked of them, even though it wasn't a lot of fun at times. So thank you to your students, and we can't wait to see them back on campus starting in the fall.
Lisa, did you have something to add? I think you had unmuted yourself there.
Oh, sure. Well, I was going to kind of tag on to Narcy because I have a junior at Pacific going to be a senior. And so I've also heard for his perspective on, you know, just the challenges of COVID and trying to be a college student and all of that. So we all completely understand what you and your children are going through. And he and his friends reach out to me all the time to help troubleshoot things. So if your children need extra help, send them my way. I'm happy to. I can't necessarily give all the correct information, but I can certainly direct them to people who can.
Absolutely. Janelle, did you want to add anything onto that?
Oh, I just want to thank the parents for all of their support. I know that your students call home and, you know, ask you questions, and I hope that, you know, you can still continue to encourage them to keep trying. We're almost there. We're almost there to the end, and we're all looking forward to a closer to normal year next year where they'll all be back. We've missed them, and we're kind of tired of Zoom, I think, but you know, if that's the way we need to communicate, I think it has worked. And it's good for me to see faces, and I appreciate all of your help. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And yes, watch graduation on May 15th. Thank you so much for that, Karen. We absolutely appreciate it. It's a crazy year this past year, and we appreciate everyone's patience. And hopefully these Boxer Town Hall meetings have been helpful for you. And again, this is the last one that we have scheduled for now. I don't know if we're going to have another one with a big update in the summertime, but we will be sending out communications to both students and and parents. And so please make sure to check your email and have your students check their email. I know once summer hit, that seems to stop, but there's a lot of important information that gets sent out over the summer to help them prepare for fall. So that email should still be checked on a regular basis. Please help them get into that habit. But otherwise, we already have a couple of lists of things that we're going to follow up with. So if we said that we were going to follow up with you, we'll make sure to do that. The video will be posted, as well as I believe we're going to have like a Q&A sheet typed up. Was that the plan? I think that was maybe mentioned that I know a few parents have mentioned that it's a little bit easier to read the Q&A sheet. So we'll go ahead and get this communication out to you one way or another to you. And again, thank you everybody so much. Graduation May 15th, everybody, and have a great rest of the day, and stay safe out there. We're almost there, and we'll see you in the fall, everybody. Have a good night.